Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 2 of Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we took a closer look at the noble new she-cat that has arrived in camp, and we also had a new royal apprentice, so our kitten aged up into an adolescent, and we took a look at everything related to that. And I think it was a pretty good time out in patrols. Thankfully, everyone was safe. Nothing too drastic happened. There were quite a few changes that we noted in terms of relationships. Obviously, like, as the effect, the aftermath of whatever happened with Garlic Glow coming into the clan and, you know, her kind of shaking up the king's court, and then getting paired up with Icicle Speck and the breakup that happened from that, cats falling out of love. So there was some romantic drama, but I think for the most part it was actually a really good episode we had. So this time around we are in our last turn of Greenleaf. So this is like, you know, the fun times for Royal Clan over. And I don't mean that in a hopefully dreadful way, but it's just that from next episode onwards, we are obviously entering the more difficult seasons, the colder seasons, you know, where the clan has to work a little bit harder to get by. But we are in Moon 65, so let's start off in the Leader's Den. We are still in an age of peace with all of our allies, which is very nice to see. Now, the clan is off to a dramatic start, something that I think has been brewing in the background, and I may even have mentioned in the last episode, has finally come to pass. So let's take a look. Royal Clan does not have enough healthy medicine cats. Cats will be sick/hurt for longer and have a higher chance of dying. Icicle Speck, who is our royal physician, has gotten heat stroke. Flailstorm and Magpie had a huge fight and broke up. This is something we have been wondering about, because after the birth of their son, Freezepaw, these two have been having disagreements, haven't really been getting along. They've been giving their attention to other cats instead of each other, and I think I expressed in the last episode that I was feeling a little bit conflicted about these two, because I obviously didn't want them to stay stuck together and be unhappy, and it seems as though Flailstorm and Magpie share my sentiments, because they had a final fight. It was really huge and they broke up. Now when we look at relationships in a second, we are going to try and see if we can get a timeline as to how this happened, but interesting. Now they can focus on the cats they want to focus on. Shining Stripe wasn't looking where he was going and tripped over a small trunk, gaining a few bruises, and then Flare Freckle recovered from heat exhaustion. So, let's see. Icicle Speck, Magpie, and Frostfade are not going to be able to head out on patrols, but the other cats seem to be in a good mood. Let's check out the Medicine Cat Den. Icicle Speck, heat exhaustion. Oh right, Magpie still has the water in her lungs. I feel like it is a really, really mean thing for Flailstorm to break up with Magpie when she's got water in her lungs, don't you think? But then again, I'm pretty sure Magpie was pretty upset last time. Maybe even the episode beforehand, when she fell into the river. I'm pretty sure she was upset that Flailstorm was busy looking at the stars with the clan leader or with the king instead of staying with her and giving her some support, some emotional support. And it could be that they had a fight, maybe about that, maybe about, you know, each other's dalliances. Maybe Flailstorm pointed out that she's not entirely innocent either, because she's spending time with, who is it? Quillrunner. She's spending time with Quillrunner and the other cats, you know, so it goes both ways, I suppose. Frostfade still has that sprain. Shining Stripe got some bruises, that's right. Let's see, Flare Freckle was given moss as treatment for heat exhaustion, and then she recovered from that. Oh my goodness, Magpie was given Mullen as treatment for water in their lungs. They will be less likely to die? Because last time, it said that their condition is, like, going to improve, or, you know, it's gonna help. Yeah, like, the risks associated with the condition are gonna be lowered. But this time it says she's likely to die? Okay, so this is apparently very serious. I'm even more upset at Flailstorm now. Like, really, this is the time you picked to break up with her? Actually, here's the other thing. We need to check their relationship to see who broke up with who. Whoever has the least amount of romance, I'm gonna assume they're the ones who broke it off. So, okay, we have that. Frostfade was given Elder Leaves as treatment for sprain. Who the heck broke up? I want to know. So we have... Where are they? Where are they? We have Magpie and we have Flailstorm. Okay, Magpie has less romance, so unless... Actually, even the breakup prompt didn't give us a clear indication, so I'm gonna go by this. Magpie was the one who finally broke it off. Okay, I feel less angry at Flailstorm if Magpie was the one who did it. If it was Flailstorm, my goodness, I would have been very upset at him. Okay, let's take a look at their relationships. King Fenstar didn't realize how generous Garlic Glow could be, so he's getting along well with his right hand. King Fenstar didn't expect Icicle Spec to be so amicable today. Scorchmoss has had a lot of good dreams about Garlic Glow lately. Scorchmoss is re-evaluating how much she values Frostfade as a clanmate. Icicle Spec goes to tell a secret to Flarefreckle only for Flarefreckle to tell someone else's secret to him. Icicle Spec notices that Frostfade always gets better fresh kill to eat. Flailstorm thinks Inkfeather is a very good listener. After something happens, Flailstorm and Ghostfeather find comfort in one another's company. Flailstorm and Magpie had a huge fight and broke up. Okay. There's been nothing over here to indicate that something led up to this, so it might just have been something brewing. The only thing that we might have to look out for when I'm doing relationships is Flailstorm's relationship with Inkfeather and Ghostfeather. The feathers did something. I don't know, but following that, Magpie was the one to end things off with him. Maybe Flailstorm's going around spending time with all these other cats, and Magpie, who's stuck in the medicine cat den, is kind of realizing that her life is like on the brink of, you know, going, and Flailstorm still doesn't care enough about her and his responsibility towards her to be there and make an effort. And I think that matters to her a lot. And staying true to herself, she decided that maybe she's not going to die pathetically waiting for a mate who doesn't love her to give her attention. And she decided to confront him about it and break up. I think that's probably how things went down with him. A clanmate that went on patrol with Shining Stripe and Garlic Glow says they talked the entire time and almost left them behind. Shining Stripe likes to sit near Foxclaw during conversations. Flarefreckle is suddenly struck by the thought of how much Icicle Spec does to keep the clan healthy. Okay, so he's being appreciated, which is nice. And I mean, Flarefreckle would know because she just recovered from heat exhaustion, and now Icicle Spec has heat exhaustion. Foxclaw smacks the spider off of Flarefreckle. During rough weather, Magpie helps Bearpelt get safely to his den. But also, now that Magpie and Flailstorm are no longer together and no longer mated, they're kind of free to pursue other cats and get into relationships with other cats. Bearpelt is sharing tongues with Freezepaw. During the last gathering, Magpie and Garlic Glow defended their clan against another clan's heckling. Freezepaw lets Magpie know that clanmate was talking badly about her. Okay, so some mother-son bonding happening. Inkfeather wonders what she did to make Flailstorm so rude towards her today. Inkfeather always wants to say hello to Ghostfeather first thing in the morning. Some mother-son bonding, which is nice to see. Quillrunner and Ghostfeather spend some time together and nearly forget what made them upset with one another in the first place. Frostfade learns that Shining Stripe has been using him for something. Foxclaw and Freezepaw couldn't agree which way to go on a patrol and got home late. Flailstorm snickered when Ghostfeather tripped. Magpie calls out the clan for targeting Freezepaw. She's very defensive of her son, I kinda like that. Garlic Glow worries that the clan trusts Quillrunner more than her. And then Garlic Glow asks Quillrunner to teach her how to sing so well. Okay, so that's all we have for events. Let's wrap up over here and continue with the cat list. Okay, let's continue with our cat list. I don't think we're going to be too surprised to see where the relationship changes have happened this time around, but just a quick reminder on our loyalties over here. Now, in terms of relationships, the first cat I noticed things with was Magpie. And like I said, I don't think we're too surprised, but I noticed Magpie have a bit of a relationship or a romance lost with Foxclaw. I think in general, maybe Magpie is feeling that she needs to let go of some of the cats that she has been kind of harboring maybe feelings towards or expectations from, because at this point in her life, when she is, on the brink of death, I think she feels disappointed with them, and she feels like she needs to do right by herself and make sure that her feelings don't continue being dragged through the mud, So there's that. The other cat that her relationship was affected with, obviously, was Flailstorm. She had quite the romance lost with Flailstorm, and now there's barely any feelings there. In fact, if I think about her relationship with Flailstorm, I could be wrong, but I don't think they ever became friends, and I don't think they ever fell in love. Their relationship was pretty much just a formal arrangement to have kittens. They fulfilled that fairly quickly, and then they were never actually motivated to progress their relationship beyond that. In fact, it started deteriorating very quickly. We saw it, I think, from the end of season 1. So it's unfortunate, yes, but actually I think this might be better. In fact, I almost would not mind Magpie and Quillrunner maybe getting together, because obviously I know Quillrunner's in love with Icicle Speck, but he does have some good feelings towards Magpie, and she obviously likes him the most right now. They're both available and no longer committed to anyone else. I think this might be the best pairing. It would actually be a happy ending that I'd be able to get behind. So hopefully things work out with Magpie and Quillrunner, to be honest, because I don't want them to be distracted by cats that might not return their feelings. And then the last cat that I noticed changes with, again, an obvious one, was Flailstorm. Flailstorm has also had a romance loss with Magpie. And, he has, beforehand, and this is kind of odd, but his, feelings for Magpie and Scorch Moss was the same. But now, with Magpie, they've obviously kind of diminished somewhat. He still has a bit more attachment to her than she does to him, because she's obviously the one who called it off. But Flailstorm, yeah, it's I think, he let go of this a long time ago. He's more distracted with other cats, and I don't think this loss is going to hit him too hard. It's not as though Magpie was such a big presence in his life that it's going to affect him too much, I think. Because, he didn't even really have a friendship with her like he does with Scorchmoss, at least. And then he had this new budding romance with, King Fernstar, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But right now, he does have the most feelings for an attachment with Scorchmoss. And Scorchmoss, we haven't really talked about her in this season, I think, but for the longest time, she has had a very a loyal devotion to Flailstorm. She only has feelings for Flailstorm right now, and she has had for a long time. I think ever since her mate died, ever since all her children died, she has liked Flailstorm, and she has never kind of given attention to anyone else. Maybe here and there. I'm not entirely sure if she was involved with Buttercup Fin or not, but largely, she's never been that committed to or in love with anyone else other than Flailstorm, and she's still very much in love with him right now. So I feel like she has been for many moons holding out hope for him, but at some point, I think we talked about it in the last season, and it's coming back to me a little bit, but after Flailstorm's match was made, she kind of realized that maybe she was too old to think like a young she-cat and kind of wait Flailstorm to come back and love her in turn. She kind of decided that if it was an unrequited love she would still keep at it, but she wouldn't expect things from Flailstorm. She would just be happy within herself. So I don't think Scorchmoss is expecting anything from Flailstorm, but it makes me a little bit mad how Flailstorm is like taking advantage of his friendship with her. So I don't know. It would be ideal actually if Flailstorm finally recognized that Scorchmoss was the best match for him and he ended up with her. That would be ideal. But then also, you know, because to be honest, Fernstar has Ink Feather. I don't want Flailstorm and Fernstar to be a thing, because then what's going to happen to Ink Feather, who's very, very devoted to Fernstar, even if he doesn't really acknowledge her. So Fernstar can stay miserable. I want Ink Feather to be happy, and I would rather Flailstorm get with Scorchmoss. But that's kind of the changes that we had with these cats. That was a lot of gossip to talk about. So that aside, we need to go to Ink Feather, who we were just talking about, to have our matchmaking session. So let's get Garlic Glow here and Icicle Speck, who is pretty sick. But you know, now would be a good time for Garlic Glow to maybe be attentive, but I don't know if she's going to be in the mood for that. Let's have a look. Okay, so Trust, Comfort, Platonic Like has increased, Dislike and Jealousy has decreased. So, like I said, I don't think Garlic Glow has the patience to maybe stay by Icicle Speck's side while he's going through this heat stroke. But she did check in on him, and you know, I think she saw that he didn't really have a lot of energy for today's matchmaking session, so she kind of decided, okay, we don't really need to carry this on too long, and decided to kind of, you know, go about the rest of what she was doing. And Icicle Speck, I mean, I suppose he kind of felt maybe a little bit guilty that he couldn't be present in good spirit with Garlic Glow, and maybe he felt that he was wasting a time a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine, guys. You can take a break from time to time before, you know, you continue. As long as you're not regressing, I think that is good enough for us. But okay, let's go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. King Fernstar got startled by a squirrel. Garlic Glow is doing her best to honor her clan and her leader, so she is trying to get along with at least the other cats in the king's court, even if maybe her progression towards having a litter itself is quite slow. Icicle Speck is finding the buzzing of the cicadas annoying. Ink Feather is worried Bearpelt is overworking himself. Shining Stripe can't sleep because of the bugs and the heat. Flare Freckle daydreams about being a warrior in Tiger Clan. Bearpelt is thinking about how awful kitty pet food must taste. Magpie thought she saw a cat, but turns out it's a two-legged object that just looks like one. Quill Runner knows his friendships are just as important as clan bonds. This is why I want Quill Runner and Magpie to be a thing. Frostfade regrets not eating the bird on the fresh kill pile earlier. Foxclaw just can't find anything appetizing on the fresh kill pile. Ghostfeather has a list of complaints for his father, King Fernstar. Good to know. Freezepaw is having a nice conversation with the cats guarding camp. And she's hanging out with Scorchmoss, who is also having a nice conversation with the cats guarding camp. Sorry, he is hanging out with Scorchmoss. And Flailstorm is sharing wisdom with the younger cats that is less than helpful. I mean, he can't even navigate his own relationship, so I don't know how wise his wisdom would be. Also, thank you to Vonel. She pointed out to me that the reason in the last episode why Ink Feather couldn't mediate is because she went out on a herb gathering patrol, and the game registered that as her having already done like her duty for the day. And that's why when she was demoted to matchmaker, she couldn't do any matchmaking or mediation. Thank you for clarifying that. I had a suspicion that I didn't voice, but I wasn't entirely sure. Now I know. But okay, now that we have wrapped this up, let's go ahead and continue with patrols. Okay, so we currently have 103.7 prey, we need 38.5, so we don't have to worry about food, but we are resuming with our patrols. We obviously don't have our rural physician to send out because he is sick. But we are going to have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 3, so let's see what we get up to. Okay, look at that! So it seems as though for a second moon in a row. Oh, is this the third moon? Hold on a second. Freeze Paw, you're 7 moons. This is the second moon in a row. We're going out on patrols. That's right, episode was the first one. But it seems as though his mentor, King Fernstar, has decided on the same tactic he did last time around, which is send his apprentice, Freezepaw, with his favorite son, Foxclaw, to see what he can observe and learn. But this time around, we also have Shining Stripe that's going to be on the smaller patrol. But in the big one, we have Ghost Feather, Flare Freckle, King Fernstar, Garlic Glow, Bear Pelt, and Quill Runner. So let's see what they get up to. The patrol catches the scent of a fox, but is it red or grey? Tracking it, they find a stocky grey fox feeding on a deer fawn carcass. A grey fox is unlikely to have killed a fawn this size. Proceed. Flare Freckle shows her strength, leading the fight against the fox. By working together and keeping it distracted, the cats harry and harass the fox until Flare Freckle lands a crucial blow, snapping a tendon in one of the fox's hind legs. The fox runs, but there's no way it'll live long with such a debilitating injury. A medium amount of prey is brought to camp, so they were really successful out. And now we have 146.9 prey. And then we have these three going out on a patrol: Shining Stripe, Foxclaw, and Freezepaw. So let's see what they get up to. Oh. The patrol finds a small burrow in the ground with a strange scent. Shining Stripe hesitates, unsure if this is worth checking. Proceed. The patrol flushes a gopher out of the burrow. More fresh kill. A medium amount of prey is brought to camp. Excellent. I was so worried for a second it was a badger that was going to get one of my cats, but no, we're fine. We're okay. And now we have 168.5 prey, which is really, really good because our clan is growing and obviously we need more food to feed everyone, but things are looking pretty amazing. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.